Hi, I'm Dana from Hidden Valley Yoga. And in today's video, I'm going to show you the basics of propping. In my yoga classes, we use blankets for propping and for support. And if you don't have blankets, I can give you some advice on what you can use as substitute. So the first type of propping that I'm going to show you today is what we call the Shavasana stack. And so it's made up of some Zs. And as you can see here, we've got a few Zs already made up. And I'm going to show you how to actually make that Z now. So we start off with a flat, what we call a blanket flat. And then we're basically just ribboning that blanket so it looks like a Z. And then we place that blanket on top of the stack. So in this blanket stack, I've got 4 Zs, and that's what I need when I'm in Shavasana. And then on top of that, we take another blanket and we make a blanket roll. So you just make them the same way, except starting with the flat, and then you just roll up from one end. Nice and easy. And then that blanket roll goes on top. And then the last thing we need for Shavasana is some head support. So we just use what we call a flat. Some people require a fold for their head, but I'll just use a flat today for demonstration. And then we come into Shavasana. You just take the legs out over the blanket roll. Heels land over onto some blocks. And here we are in Shavasana. Now, if you don't have all those blankets at home, we can also substitute that with a chair. So I'll just show you the types of chairs that we use in class. I'll just move this stack away. So this is a simple folding chair. You can get them anywhere from Bunnings, or I think you can get them from Target or Kmart. And just place your chair where the stack was. And I often like to have a blanket over the edge of the chair just to make it a little bit more comfortable through the backs of your knees here. And then once again, you just lie down, put your legs over the chair, make sure that the backs of the knees come right up to the edge of the chair, and then you can lay down again. And so this is another substitute that you can use for Shavasana. And some people really like the chair because it really gets their back nice and flat on the floor, allowing those back muscles to soften. Now, other options, if you don't have a chair like this one, you can use your lounge. So your lounge seat, put your legs over the seat of your lounge there. It's really unlimited as to what you can use. So that's our basic propping for Shavasana. Now, the next propping that I'm going to show you is what we call a flat. So the flat is just a blanket that's not folded, it's just in this flat fold. You can see that it's got this nice folded edge there. And the way we use this propping is mainly when we do poses like back bends. So I would use at least 3 of these greys, just one on top of the other, and you can see that I'm putting the folded edge of the blankets in the same way, so it gives a nice sharp edge there. Some of you may want more than 3 folded blankets. And then we're laying our belly over that, so you can see that my leg bones are off. And this is for poses like Danu leg, where you hold your foot. And often when, I'll just come out, often when we do those sort of poses, as you pull your leg up, your back crunches because your lower back is tight. And maybe you're tight through the front of your thighs there. So by propping your pelvis, it helps to give length into your lower back, making the poses easier and also allowing those muscles to release there. Now, if you don't have these blankets, the options that you have is to use some bed pillows. So at least 2 of those, or maybe 3, and you just do the same. You just stack them on top of each other and then you lay over them, and it does the same job. So that's our flats. And now we're moving into another folded blanket, which is basically used in seated poses. And we just call this the blankets, the folded blanket. So you can see there's the fold edge and the rough edge. So we just fold it in half, and we just stack those on top of each other. Like so. And then you can sit on them. And what this does is that when you sit in these cross-legged poses, often your knees are way up here and your back muscles tighten to support you, and you tend to get a rounding in your lower back. So by propping yourself up high enough on the folded blankets, it allows your knees to come down. And what you're really looking for is your thighs to be level with your hips. So you're totally relaxed in the cross-legged pose. And then if we're staying here for longer periods, then we'll bring in what we call a wedge. Now, a wedge is really only another folded blanket. And you're just going to take your wedge, and I'll come off the blanket so you can see where I'm putting it. And you just put it on the edge of your blanket stack like that. And then you'll sit on the blankets again and sit on the wedge. And then just wiggle off the wedge a little. So what's happening is the wedge is, all that's sitting on the wedge is the fleshy part of your buttocks. So your sit bones are actually on the blanket stack. And what this does is it tips your pelvis and allows you to be more easily upright without any effort. Helps you to stay longer in the seated pose. So that's our folded blankets. And then the last thing that I'm going to show you today is the use of blocks. Now, we do use blocks in poses, especially poses like a lunge, some other poses where your hands won't reach the floor and you just need to give your hands some support. So I'll just demonstrate to you the lunge using the blocks. So we have a couple of blocks, and when we come into lunge, often I'll suggest you turn the blocks up nice and high so you can bring your front foot through, and then once your front foot is through, you turn your blocks down again. I'm not going to go into the intricacies of lunge. I'm just going to show you, we're just showing you today how to use the blocks in lunge. The blocks come forward, your head will go down, and then you'll move into lunge. And you can see that it gives me a nice upright position, and my thigh is under my belly. So if I were to bring my hands off the blocks now and flat on the floor, what happens is my knee here starts to drift out to the side. And that's not as effective for reaching into the spine. So the blocks help to keep your belly over your thigh so your hips can sink down. And then when we come out, you just push into the blocks. You can turn them back up nice and high again, and then you can slide that front foot out. So thank you for joining me today, and I hope you get some benefit from this video, and thank you for watching.